Okay, so, when it comes to supplements, things can get confusing pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And creatine is one of those that's, well, everyone's talking about it.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, for better or for worse, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I appreciate you sending over these resources because it seems like you really want to get to the bottom of this creatine craze.
Definitely. Definitely.
Cut through the hype and figure out what's what.
Yeah, what really matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I'm excited to dig in.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And kind of lay it all out,
So the big thing with creatine, at least from what I'm seeing in these articles and studies you sent over,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's basically like it's like an energy reserve for your muscles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like it helps them work harder, recover faster,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately, supposedly you can build more muscle.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, this isn't just like some, bro science.
Right.
We've got decades of research at this point
Right.
showing that it actually works, not just for like lifting weights,
Uh-huh.
but also potentially for like brain function.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes you stronger and smarter?
Well, potentially smarter,
Okay,
I mean, more research is always needed,
Right, of course.
but yeah, some studies suggest it might have some cognitive benefits too.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and all that with like very few side effects.
That's huge.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can see why some people are calling it a no-brainer for guys,
Right.
especially if you're trying to pack on some muscle,
Mm-hmm.
improve your performance,
Yeah.
or even, just stay sharp mentally.
So that's a pretty big claim, a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But that's what we're here to find out, right?
Exactly.
We're going to do a deep dive, see if that claim holds up.
Absolutely.
So the main thing I'm seeing that you want to figure out
Yeah.
is what's the best type of creatine?
That's the big question.
Right.
Yeah, because there are so many out there.
Yeah, I mean, you sent me stuff about creatine, monohydrate, HCl, ethyl ester.
Oh, yeah, and buffered creatine?
No, like crealkaline and all these things.
Yeah, all these fancy names.
So where do we even start?
Well, I think a good place to start is with the one that everyone knows.
You mean like the OG?
Exactly. Creatine monohydrate.
That's classic. Yeah.
The classic. The one that's been studied the most.
Right.
And consistently shown to be effective.
And it's usually the cheapest, right?
Yeah, generally the most affordable.
So if it works and it's cheap,
Right.
why are there all these other types?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
The supplement industry is a business after all.
Right, right.
So let's take creatine HCl, for example.
Okay, yeah, this is the one that's supposed to be like super absorbed or something.
Right. They market it as having better absorption
Yeah.
because theoretically it dissolves better,
Okay.
which could mean it gets into your system faster.
Mhm.
But the research, when you compare it head-to-head with monohydrate, it's just not that conclusive.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily show that you get more creatine into your muscles or that you see bigger gains.
So it's basically just like a marketing thing.
Well, it might have some slight advantages,
Okay.
but it's definitely not the game changer some companies make it out to be.
Right.
And it's usually more expensive.
Of course.
So, is it worth it? That's for you to decide.
Yeah. I mean, so far, monohydrate's looking pretty good.
It's hard to beat the classic, especially when you consider the price.
Okay, what about that creatine ethyl ester?
Oh, yeah, that one.
That one's supposed to be like, I don't know, super powerful or something.
Yeah, there is a lot of hype around that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the studies actually show it might be less effective than monohydrate.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of a head scratcher.
That is surprising.
But the thinking is that, it gets broken down too quickly
Oh.
before your muscles can really use it.
So it's like it's there and then it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
So, again, not really living up to the hype.
All right. Well, then there's buffered creatine.
Mm-hmm. Like crealkaline.
Yeah, that's the one that's supposed to help with bloating, right?
Yeah, that's the claim.
Okay, so does it?
Well, the idea is that it's more stable,
Okay.
so it doesn't break down as much in your stomach,
Yeah.
which in theory could mean less bloating.
Right.
But the research is mixed. Some people say it helps. Some people don't notice a difference.
So it's kind of like a maybe?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Interesting.
And again, it's usually more expensive.
Okay, so based on all of that,
Yeah.
the sources you provided are basically saying stick with the monohydrate.
Yeah. I mean, why overcomplicate things?
Right.
Monohydrate is tried and true.
Yeah.
It works. It's affordable. And it's backed by tons of research.
Okay, so that's the type, monohydrate.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still a lot of different brands out there.
Oh, yeah, that's another whole rabbit hole.
Right. So let's look at these three that your source specifically recommends.
Sounds good.
Okay, the first one is Optimum Nutrition.
Good brand.
Yeah, it says it's ultra pure, third-party tested,
Very important.
and mixes easily.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, nobody wants clumpy creatine.
Definitely not.
The only downside is that it's, well, not the cheapest,
Yeah, you do pay a bit of a premium for the quality.
but it sounds like it's worth it.
Well, it's their best overall pick, so.
Yeah, that third-party testing thing,
Mm-hmm.
that seems really important.
Oh, it's crucial.
Yeah,
Because it basically means that someone else,
okay,
an independent lab,
right.
has verified that what's on the label
Yeah.
is actually in the product
Makes sense.
and that it's free from any nasty stuff.
Right, like contaminants, heavy metals, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So you know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Peace of mind.
The second recommendation is Thorn Creatine.
Another excellent choice.
Also monohydrate, of course.
Yep. Sticking with the basics.
And this one's NSF certified.
Which is a big deal.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means they've met really strict standards
Okay,
for quality and safety.
so even more rigorous than third-party testing.
Well, it's another layer of assurance,
Got it.
especially for athletes,
Right.
because it guarantees that the product doesn't contain any banned substances.
Makes sense. So like if you're a pro athlete or something.
Yeah, or even if you're just really serious about your training,
Mm-hmm.
NSF certification gives you that extra confidence.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Thorn is known for being a very reputable brand.
Right, trusted by a lot of pros.
Exactly.
The only downside, it sounds like, is the price.
Yeah, it's definitely a premium product.
But you get what you pay for, I guess.
That's often the case with supplements.
All right, the last one you sent me
Mm-hmm.
is Bulk Supplements Monohydrate.
Yeah, the budget pick,
Right, because it's basically dirt cheap.
pretty much.
It's just pure creatine powder.
No frills.
No frills.
Just straight creatine.
And it's a top seller on Amazon.
People love a good deal.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Right.
The only thing is no flavor options.
Yeah, if you're someone who needs their supplements to taste good,
Right.
this might not be the one for you.
But if you're just mixing it with water or something,
Yeah,
it's probably not a big deal.
totally.
Okay, so those are the three specific brands.
Yeah, good options to consider.
But before we move on, there's this question that I'm sure a lot of people have.
What is it?
Does gender even matter?
Ah, good question.
Like, does creatine work differently for men and women?
Right.
Because we're focusing on creatine for men here.
Yeah.
But the sources you provided basically say that
Yeah.
no creatine works pretty much the same way.
At a fundamental level, yeah.
For everyone.
It's the same molecule.
Right. But they do say that men are often more focused on, like,
Yeah.
building muscle and strength.
Right, the classic get swole goal.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
in that context,
Yeah.
monohydrate makes a lot of sense.
It's effective, it's affordable.
Yeah.
It's the workhorse.
Okay, cool. And just to clarify,
Mm-hmm.
if someone is worried about bloating,
Yeah, that's a common concern.
regardless of gender,
Right.
the sources suggest trying micronized monohydrate
That's a good tip.
or sticking to smaller doses.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes.
Okay, so let's get into the how-to.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, so the sources recommend taking 3 to 5 grams of creatine daily.
Solid advice.
And they say a loading phase isn't really necessary.
Yeah, unless you're impatient.
Right, like if you want to see results like tomorrow.
Exactly.
What is a loading phase anyway?
So basically you take a higher dose,
Okay.
like 20 grams a day.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, for about a week
Okay.
to saturate your muscles quickly.
So it's like a jump start.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Interesting.
But the thing is, even without loading,
Yeah,
you'll reach those same levels eventually.
just takes a little longer.
Yeah, maybe a few weeks.
So it's not a huge difference in the long run.
Not really.
Cool.
It's up to you, really.
Okay, and what about timing?
Good question.
Like, does it matter when you take it?
You know, there's been a lot of debate about that,
Yeah.
but the general consensus is that consistency is more important than timing.
Okay, so as long as you take it every day,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter if it's in the morning or at night.
Pretty much.
They do mention post-workout or with breakfast as examples.
Yeah, those are just convenient times for most people.
Makes sense.
But the key is to make it a habit.
Right, routine, routine, routine.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess the last thing is how do you actually take it?
Well, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You can mix it with water,
Okay.
a protein shake, even coffee.
Really? Coffee?
Yeah, some people do that.
Huh. I never would have thought of that.
It's all good as long as it mixes well.
So no, like, weird reactions with certain drinks?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, creatine is pretty versatile in that way.
Cool, cool. So we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but there are still some common concerns that people have about creatine.
Right. Those lingering doubts.
Yeah, so let's tackle those.
Let's do it.
Okay, first one, and this is a big one.
Uh-huh.
Is creatine safe for long-term use?
Yeah. Especially for men.
Because, you hear stories.
Oh, yeah. The internet is full of stories.
But the sources you provided are pretty clear on this.
Very clear.
They say, yes, it's safe.
As long as you're a healthy adult.
Right.
Yeah.
And your kidneys are functioning properly.
Yeah, that's important.
Of course.
But for the vast majority of people,
Yeah.
decades of research have shown that creatine is safe to take long term.
Okay. That's good to hear.
It is reassuring.
Okay, next one. And this is another one that I hear a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Will creatine make you go bald?
Ah, the hair loss myth.
Right. Everybody's worried about that.
Yeah, especially guys.
But again, the sources are pretty adamant that this is not true.
Yeah, they say it's a myth.
No conclusive evidence linking creatine to hair loss.
There are some theories floating around,
Okay.
but nothing concrete.
So basically, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go bald,
Right.
it's probably not the creatine's fault.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, one less thing to stress about.
Okay, next question. Should I cycle creatine?
Ah, the cycling debate.
Yeah, so some people say you should take it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
then stop, then start again.
Right, the on again, off again approach.
But the sources say, nope, not necessary.
Yeah, they recommend just taking it every day.
Consistently.
Exactly. Consistency is key.
Why do people even cycle it in the first place?
Well, some people think it helps prevent your body from getting used to it,
oh.
or that it gives your body a break.
But that's not really how it works with creatine.
Not according to the research.
Okay, so daily use is the way to go.
That seems to be the most effective approach.
Cool. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do some men avoid creatine?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of benefits. So why would anyone stay away?
Well, the sources point to a couple things.
Yeah.
One is the fear of bloating.
Which we talked about.
Right. But we know there are ways to mitigate that.
Yeah, micronized creatine, smaller doses.
Right.
It's manageable.
And the other thing is this idea that it's, I don't know, unnatural or something.
Right, the it's not for me mentality.
Yeah, but I mean, it's naturally occurring in the body.
It is. It's found in meat and fish.
So it's not like some crazy synthetic chemical.
No, not at all.
It's just a way to supplement what's already there.
Exactly, to boost your natural levels.
Okay, so I think we've covered pretty much everything.
We've done a pretty thorough deep dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bottom line, the key takeaway from all of this is
Mhm.
if you're considering creatine,
Yeah.
stick with creatine monohydrate.
The OG,
Right. The classic.
the one that works.
And the brands that your sources recommend
Yeah.
are Optimum Nutrition
Good choice.
and bulk supplements.
For those on a budget.
Exactly. And the advice is to save your money on the fancy stuff.
Yeah, don't fall for the marketing hype.
And invest in other things.
Like quality food.
Right.
A good gym membership.
Yeah. The fundamental.
The things that really move the needle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for you listening,
Mhm.
hopefully this deep dive has cleared up some of the confusion around creatine.
That's
We've looked at the different
the
types,
pros and cons.
the science,
Say myths.
and ultimately the evidence points to creatine monohydrate as the best choice.
For most people, yeah.
We also talked about dosage,
3 to 5 grams daily.
timing,
Doesn't have to be complicated.
and some common concerns.
Hair loss, cycling, all that good stuff.
Right. And it seems like a lot of those concerns are unsounded.
Based on the current evidence, yeah.
But here's a thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
We debunked some pretty big myths today
We did.
about creatine.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, what other beliefs out there about supplements or even just health and fitness in general
Right.
might be worth questioning?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what other truths are we holding on to
Yeah.
that might not actually be true?
It's a good exercise to
Right.
question everything,
To think critically,
to look for the evidence.
to not just take things at face value.
Exactly, to be an informed consumer.
Yeah, and that goes for everything, not just supplements.
Absolutely. It's a valuable skill to have.
So, food for thought.
Food for thought indeed.
And speaking of food for thought,
Yeah.
the author of the material you shared, Mohammed Natsif Udin,
Mm-hmm.
he's a fitness enthusiast
Yeah.
with a background in marketing and supply chain management.
Interesting combination.
And he's also the founder of Muscle Theory.
So he knows his stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn more about supplements or fitness in general,
Yeah.
his work might be worth checking out.
Sounds like a good resource.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I always learn something new when we chat.
Me too, me too.
All right. Until next time.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye.